Hey everybody, I am here today with a woman who really inspires me. We're at the studio and I was actually thinking about her on my drive here, and I believe I found Christine Bullock about 6 years ago when I first moved to LA, and this woman has over 20 years of experience in the fitness wellness industry, but she's also a founder of 2 different companies, KAYO Body Care, and she is a loving wife to an amazing man who's also in business, entrepreneurship, and she's a mom of 3 under the age of 6, and she gives. She's constantly learning about new things, and she's always on the cutting edge of health and wellness. And I'm just so blessed that you're here today, Christine Bullock. Thank you for being here.
What a kind intro.
I mean it, girl. I mean it.
I take some time for me too.
You're the real deal. And I didn't mention all the things, all the covers you've been on and your accolades. And
well, I'm just as inspired by you as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love to see everything that you're up to all the time.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Where did this all start for you? Like this whole fitness journey background?
Yeah, I mean, great question. It's just, one, it's kind of in my DNA, I think, both ways. I think I was born this way because I really love the science of wellness. I love to dig in and understand it, and I think that's what always motivates me to stay consistent or keep coming back to it, right? Mm-hmm. The health and wellness aspect of it. But my parents were really healthy too. Like my dad taught track and cross country, and he's run every single day, even though his knees are just like gone, for 40 plus years. My mom ran marathons. She was doing Jane Fonda in front of me. Mm-hmm. You know, we had Paula Abdul workouts, which were really fun. I would do at the house. She was Whole Foods before Whole Foods existed, back in the middle of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where I'm from, a suburb of Pittsburgh. So we had like 1,000 grain bread. We had powdered vitamin C, my orange juice, grape nut cereal. Like I didn't have what other kids had. Mm-hmm. You know, it turned into high school where I ate Twix and Mountain Dew for lunch every single day. But it's good to have those experiences too, and then have to find like that middle ground. Yeah. But I was always hustling, and even in the sense of the business, I was the girl with the lemonade stand, or like making jewelry and selling it, slinging it on the street. Yeah. She's just whatever it takes. Yeah. I love that mindset. In the stone driveway.
Did you do dance, was it?
Oh, I was a ballerina too, yeah. And that's something, I begged my mom to put me in that, and I basically just focused in on ballet. So thanks for reminding me, by the way. Yeah. I think like 17 years, 5 to 7 days a week. You know, there were times that it was less too, but I absolutely loved it. Summer camps instead of all the other kids doing really fun stuff. Like I was at the ballet summer camps. Mm-hmm. I did track. I did a little cheerleading. I did a little soccer. I loved sports. I did a little swimming. Yeah. You know, it's like in my DNA. It's what I love to do. Yeah.
That's so cool. I watched my mom do Buns of Steel.
Yeah, we had that too.
Which is, it's so cool because like it's in me too. Mm-hmm. Like it's something we share, is like we love health and wellness. Mm-hmm. It's not like a diet. It's the true lifestyle, which is like so needed, that mindset, I think.
It's for my mental health. Yeah. You know, and I don't need too much. I mean, the thing was, once I got into it in Los Angeles, and I got really pushed into it, and I kind of fell into it in that sense where I was like on the background of fitness DVDs before I created my own, or on the magazines, or, commercials, all that kind of stuff, and filming it. So there's all this pressure, and I was doing it like 2 hours a day because I'm trying different things. The thing is, like, I might have to go teach forever, but I need to do a class myself. But that means all day you're working out, right? And that was a swing in the other sense. Yeah. And I think I found a really happy ground where I like work out like maybe 2 days a week, but I love it. Yeah. And that's what I can fit in for myself. That's because that's all I can fit in now. Right. But I'm super happy, and it's really effective at what it needs. But I still need that for my mental health. Absolutely.
So when you moved to LA, were you just like celebrity fitness trainer right away? Like, did you have to go, make some a good network, or
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I didn't know a soul when I moved to Los Angeles, and I had been in beauty simultaneously. So I went off to college, got a BA in behavioral psychology and education, just because, I've been working since I was 15 too. So I put myself through school. My dad was a teacher. They were like, you're going to be a teacher just because like it's going to make you money right out, right? We don't have any money for you. Like, here you go. And, but I was working at one of the first Sephora's in the United States at the time. I'm 20, it's like 20 plus years ago. I know, ages me. But, you know, so I loved beauty, and I didn't wear a stitch of makeup before that. So I really learned about it, but my focus really was in the skincare portion. Again, it was the science. I met the founders. I met Dr. Paragon, Leslie Blodgett of Philosophy. We launched Anastasia. Like, we launched so many of these brands back then. And I was a trainer for the company. So you would meet everybody, get that education, and then educate all the other sales employees that would come in.
Wow.
So, and then I ended up working for a plastic surgeon there and working with microcurrent technology, kind of like the EMS you hear now. And that doctor was like, you got to get out of Pittsburgh. So I ended up just picking up, moving to LA. He's like, I want you to work for this company and get out of here. So I just picked up one day, moved to LA. And I was teaching yoga on the side, I should say, through college. Always, again, 3 jobs.
Yeah.
And I was like a librarian, too. I was archives. I mean, I've had so many side jobs at that time as well. But so that's when I just picked up and I moved out here, didn't know a soul, and was working from home. So I really didn't have an opportunity to meet anybody either. One day I finally went out. I actually went to an acting class, which is not me.
Yeah.
You know, funny enough, because we speak in front of people all the time and, you know, do all that. But not an actress, and I truly am very shy. If I could just be in the corner, if I could be the producer of something, I would absolutely be the producer.
You're like an outgoing introvert.
Yes.
You can turn it on when you need to.
But I figured I would meet people at an acting class. That's what people do. So I actually did. I met a friend there, and I went out with her one time, walked into a bar in Brentwood, Q's, in Wilshire.
Yep.
And my husband walked directly up to me, and he's from Pittsburgh. Not to divert, but this is the funny little story.
This.
He's from Pittsburgh, and we basically just fell in love after that. I actually left for a month and then came back, and then we fell in love after that.
Oh my God. So how long have you been married now?
Oh, man. Maybe 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 13 years.
You guys are so cute. Mm-hmm. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So what was like the first...
and even then, I wasn't training celebrities.
Yeah. When did you start, and who was your first one?
Oh, my gosh. So then, well, the funny thing was I was working in plastic surgery then, and I would go into surgery with all the plastic surgeons in Beverly Hills and Santa Monica and see them like open up faces and bodies and kind of train them on how to use our devices. Mm-hmm. Then I started to manage one of the offices for a plastic surgeon, and he had a lot of gastric bypass clients, and they were left with a lot of scars.
Yep.
So I was like trying to give them fitness and nutritional advice to, one, keep the weight off, and skincare to help the scars. Well, eventually I just missed it. Like, I could really feel the passion because I was making a lot of money. And I think he was still my boyfriend at the time, my husband, but he was like, just go do what you want to do. So I went back full time from just teaching yoga to a year of classical Pilates training, bar, strength training, nutrition training. And I went and did all of that. The company actually went under because they had a bad filler. So they paid us a lot. Mm-hmm. And so that allowed me, it was like, God's perfect timing.
Amen.
To do all of that kind of stuff. And then that's how I fell into all of that. And it just kind of, I always say, it's amazing. That was a really great lesson for me, that some things feel like the right path. Was it some of what I loved? All the science, the plastic surgery, all that kind of stuff. Like, I loved the actual, so my dad used to show us films he taught anatomy and biology of the same thing. On Halloween, we'd have kids over and I'd be watching facelifts.
Oh my
so
God.
Weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I love the science of it, you know? But it wasn't, everything wasn't there. And I had great money, all of that. And I was kind of embarrassed to go back just into fitness, or it was scary, right? Mm-hmm. But when you're really on the right path where it's supposed to be, instead of knocking down doors, like, I felt like I was working every day, right? Mm-hmm. Doors just open for you. Mm-hmm. And that's really what happened once I stepped into something that was kind of scary for me and stepped into something new that I wanted to do and try. The doors just opened. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's so cool. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you're very intuitive when opportunities come, inboxes come? Like, what makes you say yes? Is it your heart? Is it just like, oh, hell yes? Or
I've learned I've had to be.
Yeah.
Because I think through good and bad opportunities, or I don't know, do you call them opportunities if they're bad?
Yeah. Lessons.
Yeah, lessons.
Hashtag lessons. Yeah.
That I absolutely have to tune into that, because something can look amazing on paper and it is not in the long run, right? And it's always the things I think that don't look as good on paper that end up being absolutely amazing, like life-changing. So now I have to take that time to sit back and really meditate on things to understand if I'm going to take huge ventures, steps, little steps, all of that.
Yeah. I love how much you did growing up. And it reminds me a lot of me. I worked for a plastic surgeon since I was 19, and I didn't know this backstory, but it's like, I always say experience is the best teacher. And like, you're the kind of woman that whatever you do it to the best of your abilities. And that's something I just really respect about you. Even as a mom, I just watch you and I'm like, dang, girl, dang, right? But it's like you have this wealth of knowledge that now is added up.
Yes.
And it's like, now you have KAYO Body Care. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, it is. It's all of those little experiences. As I told you, like, we didn't grow up with much money. You know, there were times where there wasn't like food on my table. 15, I'm working. You know, I have been hustling forever. But now look back. I mean, I even have a massage therapy certification from back when
So do I.
I was still in ballet.
This is crazy.
That's so funny. Okay, we're going to have a side chat after this. But, you know, it all added to the knowledge that I have now in order to create the businesses. So, you know, you can't worry about working hard, about trying different things, especially when you're younger. But honestly, who cares what age it is? Because, like, you know, you can blow up at any moment, like, right? Something can blow up at 50. I mean, you look at some of these actresses now who've been acting forever, and like, what was it? Like Betty Davis? No, Betty White. Like, her career started older, so many of them. And I just like look and I'm like, this is so amazing for you. You're finally on the covers of the magazines.
Totally.
And you're killing it.
Yeah.
And it's a little more mature and you've worked so hard, but so what? You reach those dreams.
Yeah.
Anywho, so it all did really add together. I had worked on TV shows in Asia. I had worked with women everywhere. The microcurrent company, I had traveled, you know, all over the world with them, all over the United States with them, into spas, worked with women everywhere. I was training all sorts of women forever. And you learn, you hear the same needs over and over again. So that really, I just filled a void in the market. And I think that's actually hard to do. But I think I learned that from like Rich Dad Poor Dad. My mom would give me those books when I was a kid.
Love Robert Kiyosaki. Yes, so good.
When I was a baby, truly a baby in my eyes, like Remy's age, like 6. She was reading Rich Dad Poor Dad to me. But they, you know, I just remember those few stories from it of like filling the market with certain things. And that's what we did with KAYO. KAYO it was the first high performance body care on the market, and we really started the entire trend.
Wow.
And now you see, you know, body care huge everywhere, but brands wouldn't do it before and it was priced so high because they weren't making the money off of it. Like, you think of yourself in the sense of business. 1 ounce of an effective serum is what, hundreds of dollars sometimes, right? Think how much money they're making off of that.
Yeah, totally, the margins.
Okay, well then you have to go and fill 10 ounces, 12, what they're doing in Target now, sometimes so much bigger, right? They don't make the margins on it, but now they realize, you know, you got to treat your body like your face. So.
And this is luxury, like it's this, but it's the ingredients. And this is something, like, I'd love to just be in your mind while you're in Target, if you ever go to Target or any of these places, just to know what you know about ingredients, what's in these things, what it does to your body, not only what we look like, but how it soaks in, all that stuff. So what was the first product you created, and why were you, like, so passionate about it?
Yeah, I mean, we did it like it was like 5 products, I think, but the first few, obviously there was a cream. So the cream was, my mom was also in skincare, and so when I was in college, she worked for La Prairie, and I would use like all 3 eye creams in college on my eyes. So,
geez,
but we got it for free. We got it for free.
Good.
Yeah. Expensive, not expensive. So back then, you got everything for free, right? And then I had a friend too, and her mom owned a brand. And so she was using all of her mom's really effective face care on her body. So I was still doing the same thing. I still got everything working in beauty for free, you know? And so that's face grade body care, our trademark. It was about creating a face cream, a high quality for your body. And so the cream was the first thing. And then our concentrated firming serum was really there too, because that was from my fitness years and shooting. I mean, you know, I'm sorry to say, but the modeling industry has horrible habits. I've heard, you know, people who don't drink water for days.
I mean, that's even the fitness industry.
Yeah,
they teach you to dehydrate yourself so you look leaner.
The water pills, which just can destroy so much other stuff for you. Obviously, eating, over fitness. I mean, it's just crazy. So I had really healthy things. Like, yes, I would try and lose some water weight, but I just go to a hot yoga class, right, the night before. And one of the tricks I had for my skin and even the water retention was to take some like coffee, grind it up, put it on in the shower the night before, wrap it with some heat like a steam, or in the morning of, right, too, and it tightens the skin, it fills in the lines, right, because it brings circulation, so it plumps all your fine lines, but it also helps topically reduce the water retention. So we did that with our firming serum. We have caffeine in it, and it was my years working at Sephora, so I knew which worked immediately and which worked over time, and so I smashed them together. So we have firming botanicals in it, we have a Slim, a really cool amino acid that inhibits fat storage, we have omegas, we have hyaluronic acid, so it works, you know, instantly, and it works over time. It's still a good trick, Put it on my neck, under my eyes if they're puffy, whatever.
Oh, I love it. And something I learned from you that I started doing was like gua shaing my legs. All that stuff. I never knew that.
It's amazing. So gua sha, we hear of the face all the time. And I love using, you know, these kind of like ancient remedies and putting them either into our supplements, our skincare, tools, all that kind of stuff. Because it's so simple. It really takes like 2 to 3 minutes to do that to your body. But there's so many benefits to it. I've had highs of cellulite, lows of cellulite. There's no problem having cellulite.
Right.
But it is a sign that other things are going on, whether it's a hormonal change through pregnancy, right? So, okay, I want to balance my hormones, or that's going to cause some other issues in the future. It's dehydration as well, because those are like collagen fibers underneath. They're like hair. I always explain it, right?
Yeah.
And so if it's dehydrated and it gets knotted, that's where we find that little spindle, right, that kind of divots down and it starts pooling on it. People always are like, oh, it's like water retention. Yeah. Reducing the water retention helps to make it look more smooth, but it's still there. So what you need to do with the gua sha is like literally like brush it. You bring blood flow, you bring oxygen to the area, it starts to heal. You're literally combing it out. You're going to see a little bit of bruising at first because that's the toxicity coming out of it. You hydrate, but usually you need like a hyaluronic acid and ceramides that you're drinking to really get that hydration in a consistent basis. And you know, you can repair all of that stuff because that's your fascia tightening, and that starts to affect everything else too. It's not just cellulite, right? It's like that's a sign that some deeper things are going on, and they can start to affect us and our postural imbalances as we age and so much more.
So when people are like, oh, this is genetics, is that not accurate?
I mean, I think there has to be some genetics in it, but I also think it's behavioral genetics in the sense of like how your family taught you to eat, what you're eating every day. Like, are you going into a bag of Lay's every single night? And the salty chips, you know, sodium, toxins, alcohol, all of that adds up. So the nice thing is, do I eat all that stuff? Yeah, here and there, yeah, of course. But I try and balance it with healthy behavior. So the gua sha is great at instant stuff like that, but when you're doing those lymphatic strokes, it's naturally improving your lymphatic system, which I'm super passionate about, because it's taking the toxins that age us, cause disease, all of that, and naturally flushing them from the body. So it's something that I'm very consistent with, even sometimes more than my workouts now at this point. Yeah,
you're so intelligent when it comes to lymphatic system, even your lymphatic massages. Rebecca, is it? Yeah.
Rebecca Ferry,
yes.
We just interviewed,
And exactly. I went to her, a couple times. I love her. Like, and I loved watching you in your pregnancies, like post pregnancy even. It like, oh my gosh.
She was amazing. That's actually how I learned about it. Flavia Lanini was one too, that because she was one of the first people here. She was right around the time Rebecca came too. And I think they'll both tell you they're the first here.
Right.
But I'm so glad I found it, because when I first got pregnant, I was like maybe high risk, they call it, or something like that. But the baby's tummy was growing too tiny. So the lymphatic massages are something you can actually do and feel like they do something when you're pregnant, right? As opposed to just a regular massage, they're like lightly touching you.
Totally.
But it brings blood flow there and oxygenation to the uterus to help the baby grow. So I started then, and then right afterwards, I really understood the benefits of doing it directly after giving birth to help me feel good, to get the medications out of my system right away, improve milk production, like so many benefits postnatal. Help your organs get to the right place again. I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting yourself to a point where you feel good again, so you can be the best person you can be.
All day. I believe that. Like, it's just, it's no matter what you do, it's like, it's your responsibility, and you'll have more energy. You'll be better.
Mood,
all of it. Oh my gosh. What's your philosophy around nutrition? Do you intermittent fast? Do you intuitive eat? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah. Again, like, kind of coming from a background where my mom was super specific. Like I grew up on like the blood type diet, super clean foods all the time. Like, we didn't have, sugary cereals. We had nothing like that. 1,000-grain bread that was like, you had to defreeze it or thaw it. All of that coming from one side to then going another way. One year she was pescatarian for Thanksgiving, so we had all fishes. So anyway, I've had a lot. So I'm really nothing. Yeah. But I intuitively eat, like you're saying. And so I've been vegan and I've been vegetarian too. I do intermittent fast a lot because I feel better that way. I have PCOS. It's kind of like diabetes for anybody that's not familiar in what it does to the body in the sense of nutrition. But everything you eat is not utilized as energy, and it stores as fat very quickly. So it's really easy to gain weight on, and especially as you start to age. So I do have to be careful. Like, I could have a weekend where I go out with the kids and eat some fries and burgers, and I'll immediately gain weight. Yeah. So I like the intermittent fasting. I feel better, my energy. I also like intermittent fasting because of the cellular cleanse. Again, it goes back to the science. I like it better because of that. Yeah. I know that we usually eat dinner probably like 4 or 5 o'clock, pretty early, both me and my husband, with the kids, and they eat earlier too, because I have a better night's sleep, a deeper night's sleep, and my digestive system can then turn off while I'm sleeping, and it allows all the other cells to repair. If your systems can turn off, especially that digestive system, then it allows that energy to go to your other processes and repair the cells. It's at night where we repair. So that's the most important to me, Yeah. And so I end up intermittent fasting because of that.
Yeah, I love intermittent fasting. I think, though, I'm eating too late at night sometimes, because you say that, like, even traveling, and I don't sleep as well because it's like I can sense that my body's digest. Yeah, for sure. But I love it. I feel like even like speaking and stuff, like I don't eat before. I'm like, people are like, don't you want to? I'm like, no, I feel lighter on my feet if I don't.
More focused, more energized. Absolutely.
Yeah. You have products around digestion as well, and all the things we're talking about impacts our digestion. Mine is very sensitive. Like dairy, like I'll get bloated on just like that. I can eat the wrong thing. You have like a lot of tips for bloating.
Yeah, I could talk about it forever. Yeah. I definitely always had that digestive system. I mean, dairy, I was allergic to since I was a kid. And so now, and we found out my 2 biological daughters have protein allergies, especially the most recent one. She was colic for a long time, and one of the reasons was that she had a milk protein allergy we didn't know. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that could be genetic, because I know I've been allergic since I was a kid too. So you should look for that, because I know, I mean, dairy, I think it's just not, we all don't digest it, but some of us, it's like, and I've had mine measured, it's like off the charts. Yeah. So really, you have to look at those things and see what's creating inflammation in your body in general. Sometimes for people too, it's not that you get bloated or you don't feel good, but if it's creating inflammation kills, right? It's like, that's the thing that causes disease. So we need to cut that back as much as possible. And I have highs and lows. I still eat dairy, but I just try not to eat that much.
Yeah.
But I will say, I was definitely, and it's not like the sexiest talk, but leading into IBS for myself. And I think stress does it to us too. Dr. Will Cole just came out with a book, and he's an amazing functional doctor. So he talks a lot about inflammation as his real focus. But his newest book was on emotional inflammation, that being in a bad relationship is just as much as, eating pizza every night for us. So it causes the same amount of inflammation and breakdown. So I know.
Okay, this confirms. So I was on a walk yesterday in Minneapolis, and my girlfriend's like, you look like, it's like you're just smaller. And I'm like, well, yes, I eat clean, but I think it's because I am in such a healthy relationship, and I no longer have that stress.
Yeah.
Like, he grounds me.
Yeah.
And it's like, this all makes a lot of sense.
They balance you. A good relationship balances each other, I should say.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's pivotal.
And
wow.
I just think as we age, hopefully, especially when we're kind of high performance individuals like this, you learn how to let it go. There's always going to be stress. There's going to be all of it going on. We really have to learn how to, give it to God a lot of times, you say.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the biggest things.
100%.
It'll all work out in the long run. But anyway, back to it, because I want to say, though, for your digestion, so leading into all of that, yes, we have to do that side work of it as well, emotional and mental, but I think that there's some amazing ingredients, like L-glutamine is one that we put it in our Bloat Be Gone. And truly, I've tried every bloat product. I don't think nothing has ever worked for me. So, but this one has, it works immediately, immediate gas pain, gone, and then it heals over time. So that's the problem. Now I can eat dairy, and I don't really feel the side effect of it.
That's great.
But I'm still allergic to it.
Yeah.
But L-glutamine repairs leaky gut. There's so much clinical data on it. So we hear about bone broth and L-glutamine. They're like one of the only things that repair the lining of the digestive system once we've kind of tore it down with bad foods. Marshmallow root. It's an amazing anti-inflammatory too. I used to drink the tea all the time, but that was the problem. I was doing everything here this, here this.
Yeah.
So it's all in one. It tastes
put it
really
all
good.
together.
Yeah. It's got fennel. It's got all the good stuff too.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I love it.
But your digestion leads to everything else. And, if you don't feel good, your tummy doesn't feel good.
Oh.
We don't feel good either.
It's awful. And it really makes it hard to lose weight even.
Yeah.
Hold up. Are you ready to take your brand to another level? And maybe you might be thinking, brand? I don't have a brand. Oh yes, you do have a brand. And chances are, if you're listening to this right now, you also have a message that you are ready to get out into the world. Well, if that is you and you want to take things to a whole nother level, when let's just face it, it's required in 2023 if you want to stand out in a noisy market, then I want to personally invite you to the It Factor Bootcamp Branding Edition. Now, this is not just any boot camp. What this is a couple days of you away from your crazy busy life, and we have curated 2 days of absolute brand integration. We are going to be helping you identify your brand message. We're going to be showing you how to create next level content, have a plan that matches whatever it is that you're selling and who you're selling it to. We're bringing in some of the best PR people in the world to teach you how to self-promote and then also how to stand out and to really create that halo effect, what I like to teach on. There's so many other details happening, but what this is an intimate 2 days with myself and my partner Jake, and I promise you, by the time you leave, you will feel equipped and totally ready to take your brand to another level. If this sounds like something you're interested in, then join me in Southern California towards the end of July. Send me an Instagram right now at It's Emily, ITSEMILY. Send me the word bootcamp and I will send you all the details. But act fast because we are releasing this week and we are limiting it to 50 spots so we can intimately work with you and also network. So if this is something you're into, go to my Instagram now and send me the word bootcamp. Since we're on the topic of like health, workouts, I love your workouts. I love how feminine they are.
They are.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Like, have you had to try things? What do you feel like works best?
I mean, I've tried everything, and I think that's a good thing through the experiences that I had. And, you know, in the sense of like modeling or shooting and all of that, like I'd have to be like whipping chains, throwing huge tires, sprinting, all in the same day, jump roping, and then taking my leg for yoga and wrapping it around my head.
Jeez.
Yeah, and so I really worked on improving myself in all aspects. And, you know, one thing I did find was like, you have to think about being an athlete. They really do that. The athletes that have to be have good endurance, good power, which I call strength, good, agility, moving fast on your feet. They're the fittest ones, right? Not like just some guy like on a football team. I don't even know what the term is. It is a linebacker, but the ones that hold back that are really big, but the ones that have to use all of that. So that's, I just learned, I was like, wow, this is like real this is what athletes really do. So I want to put this into my fitness programs. So I try and add a lot of different factors like that. But I will say from my ballet and Pilates background, I like things that, yes, it looks more feminine, but it's also working your joints in better directions. It's not repeat. Like even yoga to me, I don't do much anymore because it's very repetitive, very front plane motion, up and down, right?
Yeah.
To the side. Your hips and your joints are only moving in these certain directions. So Pilates at least is a bit more, I don't even say 180 because we don't necessarily do that with our joints, but moving in multi directions to keep that fluidity within our body and the balance within the body. So that's what I try and bring into my workouts.
So good. Where can people find them?
You can find them Fit On app, the free app.
Yeah.
Brooke Burke Body app. We love our Brooke Burke here online. I've had fitness programs, but those are DVDs. They're on app too, but you know, I'm old school. Like I have DVDs. Yeah. VHS. I love.
Let's go to the archives. And you and hubby did something. Is EMS?
So electromagnetic stimulation, I think it's called. So you probably have heard of it. It's in the doctor's offices a lot right now. And like the housewives, you'll see like, you know, these celebrities going into doctor's offices and they have something either on their tummy or their butt they're showing. And so it's like the machines I used to work with. So it's our bodies communicate through electrical stimulation. If I'm going to tap my foot here, it's my brain actually telling it to do so. Interestingly enough, via hydration. So hydration is super important. But so this is doing the same thing. But what's so cool about the workout that we do is that one, it's like the same price that you're doing in a doctor's office. Probably, actually, it's like less expensive, but you're doing the whole body. So they hook up your arms, your whole core, your back, your belly, your butt, your thighs, all of that. And in 20 minutes, you get a much more efficient workout. So you're doing like squats and little things and planks, and you can build up and all of that kind of stuff, and it looks minimal, but it's working. It's like 9 times faster than what you're typically doing, and it's working about 90% of the muscle fibers. What? We can't do that. So, I mean, I could float and fly, you know, in Pilates and just do like the most advanced things. But after I had my second baby, I had a pretty bad hernia. It would have taken me a year, 5 days a week for 60 minutes of like the most expert Pilates, really putting myself into it, which I don't have the energy to do right now. Yeah. To potentially repair the hernia the way that like 1 month, 1 day a week of 20-minute workouts did with the EMS.
Okay, come on. Where can I get them? Can we buy it? Do we have to go somewhere?
Unfortunately,
it's going to be like tens of thousands of dollars.
No, it's not expensive. I mean, the machine probably is, but there are little places that are now popping up in, sorry guys, bigger cities right now. Yeah. You could bring it to your city, I'm sure. Yeah. And like our guys, I love them. They come to our house. And so my husband and I, he never ever wanted to work out with me. One time I trained him on the Pilates machine and he was like, stop telling me what to do. And I'm like, I have to. You're on the machine. You don't know what to do. So the fact that he even works out with me, it's pretty amazing. And I just love that it's 20 minutes because for as much experience and love that I have for fitness, like, 15 minutes rolls around. I know I have 5 more minutes. I'm like, this is amazing. I'm going to be out of here and be able to go about my day.
And you notice a difference.
And I will tell you too, like, it has lifted my butt. And like, I do everything. Like I said, I'll do the heavy weights. I do,
Yeah. Oh, she's
but
the best at working
I'm
out that I've ever
41.
seen.
I'll be 42 this year. And it's like, it has like lifted it like in my 20s again.
Whoa. Okay. We need to get this.
Can I explain one more cool science
Yes.
thing about this though
She
too?
loves science.
Yeah, is that it balances your body. So I had so many old scar tissue and injuries, I couldn't hit the muscles right in order to do that myself. Or for people like with scoliosis like myself, anything. We all have imbalances. I had a lot of aches and pains on certain sides. So what's so cool about this, like your core, it only engages the muscle to the weakest muscle of the area. So you begin to balance everything out. So your posture, right? I mean, I
So
like the
cool.
science. I like how it's going to extend and create the longevity of my body.
Yeah, it's amazing. And this woman
lift my
can
butt.
work out. I will tell you, the first time I worked out with you was during COVID, and it was with Brooke Burke, and you were pregnant, and we did like a virtual thing,
Oh my God,
and
yeah.
she's like kicking our butt, and you were literally like the cutest thing ever. You're pregnant, and you were just like crushing it, and you can work out.
Was that the one where we were dressed like 80s too?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know why we did this 80s thing in COVID. I think we were really bored, and
Pull some pictures. from
yeah,
that.
we do. We def have some. Oh my gosh. Speaking of pregnant, okay, first of all, your first child, Remy's 6, right? Okay.
Rose just turned 6, yeah.
You adopted her.
Mm-hmm.
And for anybody that's curious, Christine has a lot on her social media. Like, I've watched a lot of different videos. I've cried. You don't even know this. That whole journey of you guys adopting her.
Yeah, we have it on YouTube too, so it's a little easier to find. But
We'll link it.
I didn't even know that I didn't do it purposefully, but
did?
I was like
Okay.
filming it maybe for her. I have
Yeah.
no idea because I don't do like video blogs. Like
Yeah.
I'm not that kind of person. But luckily we did. So we ended up being a 3-part series of like how to adopt. And do you know, so many families have adopted and reached out to us afterwards even. Like so many, I'll talk to you, I'll explain the process, but to even hear that these children have homes because of Remy, we always tell her that, like, Remy, like all these children have loving families now because of you.
What made you guys look for adoption or even start that?
Always wanted to adopt. I think she's going to cry.
I know.
She's
It's so touching. We'll link the 3-part series.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. Yeah.
I love my Remy
Yeah.
Rain. She, I always wanted to adopt. And so even in the sense of like dating, I would always say, I want to do this. And Bob was always very open with that. But I had always thought it would be the second child for whatever reason. Who knows
Yeah.
why? And we struggled with fertility. And it was like 5 years of struggle. And it, I will say, in like looking back, I always like, I knew in my heart, you need to do this on your own. Like, God is telling you that, like, he's going to do this for you, right? That's your story. Like, not even that I'm going to do it. And so I feel like I was delayed because I kept going back, right? And being like, all right, I'm going to try again. Finally, after that 5th IVF fail, I was like, I can't do this anymore. And my husband's like, let's adopt. It was like the next day. He's like, let's start the process. I was like, okay. And I'm still in this whirlwind, right, in my
Yeah.
head. And he just started the process. We jumped in. It was so fast for us. Yes, there are like the home visits. There's a lot of background information you have to go through. It was all very fun. Not the back. Some of the background's not.
Yeah.
It's not that it's not fun. You just have to like drive, get your finger printed, all
Right.
that kind of stuff. The home visits are amazing. They're fun. We loved our social workers. It seems scary, but it's not. And we basically matched so quickly. And you can look online about that whole process. And we would visit the birth parents. She's from Seattle. Go up to visit them. We're there for her birth. We spent some time with them afterwards. We gave them 2 choices of 2 different names, and they picked Remington Rain, Remy Rain, and so it's just it's a great story for her.
Yeah.
I wanted it. That's her story.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So then When did you have your first, or your second baby, really?
Yeah. So then the month that, so I will say in the maybe like 8 months from when we had the last failed IVF through the adoption that she was born, I think my last visit, the guy was like, yeah, you have a low thyroid. I was like, seriously? And then there was another doctor that was like, you have PCOS. So after 5 years, they finally told me those things. I'm like, why didn't anybody ever tell me this before?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I was working to then heal that, not to get pregnant, but I looked it up and I was like, these are not great things. I need to heal this within my body.
Right.
So I was just working on healing that within my body during that period of time. Because of the PCOS, a friend referred me to an OBGYN who was specialized in it. So for my health, I just went to this new doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was probably, Remy was 2 when I got pregnant with Poppy. And because, so I was getting pregnant, right? So now the PCOS isn't the issue. So you can really, I feel, heal those things, right?
Wow.
So we don't have to make that part of our genetics and say this is going to be hard.
Mm-hmm.
But I still had the miscarriage stuff. So luckily I was in really good hands, and she took her name is Dr. KAYO Body. She's like one of the top rated here in LA. Little did I know.
Okay.
But she took care of me, and then I have a mutated gene, which I think is important for females too. This is like, it's the MTHFR. I always say it wrong, guys, but you know what I'm talking about if you have it. It makes you absorb folic acid differently. It actually affects a lot of other health things too that women should know about, but it also makes us miscarriage. So I had to be like on blood thinners the whole time, some progesterone at the very beginning each time, you know.
Yeah.
But I had really safe pregnancies. Like there was like no craziness.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for sharing all that. If someone's like wondering if there's something off, what do you suggest? Like get your blood work done?
Find a good doctor that's specialized. Like find a go with your intuition a little bit. Like you have to, that's the other thing that I learned. Like doctors are going to tell me all this stuff, and do I know everything?
Yeah.
No, and neither does Google.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
You really have to read a book, get some great information, listen to the really top experts on the podcast and stuff like that, right? Not just Googling information, and find a doctor that's specialized in that, in something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great advice. And then now how old's your youngest?
10 months.
10 months.
Yeah.
So you have 3 girls.
That
now.
one was a surprise too. At 40, I was like, no more. And the funny thing was, I actually didn't want biological children. Sorry, my little biological children, but I didn't want them. I only wanted to adopt after that first year. I was like, you know what? I was like so passionate. I'm like, I want that for Remy. But again, it's always like God's plan. Then at around 40, right after I had Poppy, I was like, okay, let's have another baby really quick. And it didn't happen. So I was like, this is my time limit. I'm turning 40. I want to have a fun birthday party. And I don't want to be pregnant at 40. And then I got pregnant like a month before.
Tell God your plans.
Yeah.
He'll laugh. Oh my God.
Put the energy out, even if you're saying no. You're bringing it to you.
That's so right. So right. So, okay, I just imagine your house. Like, do you work from home or do you go to an office?
I work from home right now, and I love it, and I don't hate it, but like, yes, it's nice to leave, and you get a lot more accomplished because I hear the baby crying, or I hear my 2-year-old or 3-year-old now having a temper tantrum or something like that.
Yeah.
And I want to help out. We have help. My mom lives with us too, but it's like,
oh, that's great.
They need their mom.
So what does that look like? Like, how do you go from 3 littles to, managing a company or owning a company? Like, and then you have your show, your podcast, and you do so many things.
Yeah, I filmed that from the office. I'm like, everybody, shh.
Oh my God.
They're luckily 2 of them are in school, but I think the biggest lesson that I learned was when I first started and it was just Remy, I was trying to do everything all day long and on the weekends, and I realized I have to take time for one thing and I have to take time for the other thing and be really present, or it's hurting me and it's hurting everybody else. So the one thing that I'm very good at, my husband he does it the other way. He owns businesses too, as you had mentioned, and he is on Facebook wishing everybody a happy birthday. He's very present, but he can still be pretty present. I mean, like, you know, he's there sometimes, like, on his phone and stuff like that, but I can't mentally, like, I can't answer emails and manage kids at the same time.
Right, no.
I want to be doing one or the other.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just try and really work hard in those sections of time. And then, like, usually 9 to 4 or something, 9 to 5 or 10 to 5, something like that, with school pickups and stuff like that, knowing that, drop-offs. And then the weekends, I'm off emails.
Yeah.
And barely even texting. I'm that person that does not text you back for like 10 days.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of like that too. That's good. So you work Monday through Friday. Okay. And then what are you doing in your company now, or what does that consist of usually?
Everything.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when you're CEO, it's awesome, but could we use a little bit more support? Yeah, but you know, there's been a lot of like ups and downs with KAYO. Not that we have like the best products and all that, but like this business of beauty was completely, that's a whole other thing. You know, I formulate, I love to do that. I love to talk about it, but there's a whole 90% of it is not that. It is doing everything else. And I will say the blessing is 7 years ago I launched KAYO. I have learned so much. And, you know, I've managed every part of a business. And I think before I felt imposter syndrome being a CEO. And only recently I go, my husband said something to me the other day, like recently I've had one thing after another, right? And I just caught him. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know, no sympathy. He's like, yeah, that's being a CEO, putting out the bombs, bomb shelter. And I was like, all right, thanks, bye. And then I got off and I was like, you know what? It has to be if you are running a company.
It does.
Can you imagine? It's all day long, every day. So that's what business is.
Yeah, and I've learned, like, you just have to, like, let it roll off your shoulder like water.
Yeah.
And you cannot be so, like, doomsday when this happens or this employee is, you know, not, adding up or not making sense anymore. You have to, this manufacturer, it's just a part of it. And I just think as women, as emotional beings, we just have to, like, learn to just let it roll off our shoulder like water.
Yeah, and figure it out.
Figure it out.
Yeah, we just recently like $100,000s of dollars worth of inventory all messed up, and it's like, okay, let's figure this out. How are we gonna, you know? You just kind of maneuver, and it's not even the first time it's happened, guys.
Yeah. Yep. Oh man. What about social media? You're so good, and you add so much value.
Oh,
like,
you're so sweet.
You do. Like, you're good.
I think it was one of your posts that said to add value.
Yeah. Well, I love it. And, you know, and oh my gosh, I want to even talk to you about shopping. You're so freaking adorable. And you have the best. Like, when do you have
trade?
time? Yeah, we can trade. I'm like, when do you, so many things, but like social, how does that look for you? Like, when do you batch content? Like,
you know, it's a love-hate relationship with social.
Totally.
I love everybody that's on there. Like, I love the little crew that has followed me or the new followers. There are always the haters, right?
Yeah.
And does it affect me? Sometimes, yes, and I really just try and not let it. But I love creating the content, and it's just when I have time. I've realized now, you know, my babies are my number one priority. So right now, as I mentioned, the business, there's some crazy stuff going on. I have 3. It's the end of the school year. I don't have as much right now, and that's okay. You know, they're going to survive. I explain it to them. I actually put it on social. I was like, guys, this is why you haven't seen me. This is what I've been going through, and everybody's super nice about it. But that is what social media is about. It is
totally
on brand. You can't be all over the place. You know what I mean? You have to really understand your brand, but my brand is me. It is wellness, and it is health. It is the things that I'm passionate about. You know, can you throw in other little things that are part of you? Like you mentioned fashion. Yeah, I like fashion. So you can sprinkle it in.
Yeah.
But, you know, people like to know what they're coming to you for.
Yeah.
But it's also about being genuine about it and throwing in that life isn't perfect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, you're so good at that. And you're so good at like giving real tips and tangible, like, here's the realness of today. Like, I think that's why I'm so drawn to you, to be honest, because it's like, it makes me respect you more. you know,
Thanks,
and
yeah.
you're just transparent, and it's awesome.
I eat burgers and
Yeah.
fries, fried
Yeah.
chicken pretty much every single week, you know,
Yeah.
and I don't have time to work out, and I get it all. So it's
Yeah.
like, how do we make this? How can we consistently come back to the habits that are great for us mentally and physically so that we can give the most that we can to everybody around us?
Yeah, that's right.
I would not survive with 3 kids, even without a business, if I did not have a fairly healthy diet and some physical activity, some spiritual, mental activity.
Yeah,
you know.
talk to me about that. Because I remember one time we were in Brooke's backyard,
Mm-hmm.
our friend Brooke Burke, and I was totally connected with you. I was like our faith. Like you can feel that with you.
Yes.
You can feel that presence. And how important is that to you and like your family?
It's so important. And, you know, I'm the spiritual leader of my family,
Yeah.
right? And so whether my husband believes the things I'm saying, but he's seen it over the years, right? The things where whether I'm praying for it or the protection or all of that, he's seen all of those things manifest. So, but I am a spiritual leader in that sense where I have to sit down, I have to pray, and I have to, the way that the world is right now, like I have to cover them and protection every single day. I mean, there are days that I miss it too.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'm going to get to that, then I never do. But you know, you do that, and it's better for me. There are time periods where you get busy with life, you know what I mean? And then I'm like, you get like banged around so much that you're like, I need to start praying again.
I know, and then you do, and you're like, "Oh, this was here all along."
Yeah.
Like, sorry, God, I'm back. You know, like
He's not gone anywhere.
I know,
We have.
I
Yes.
know, and then
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh, this is like this covering is so amazing." And yeah.
I mean, I love, like, you know, the scripture talks about, you know, taking the weak and taking the humble and taking the one that you least expect. And I feel like that's me. Not so smart, not so this, not so that. But because of that, I know that God can create something really miraculous out of it. So
Yeah, and you've been faithful. Yeah, you can feel that, and like even with all your success and all that you've done, it's like you have this humble heart, and it's so
well,
beautiful.
it's not me.
Yeah, with your
Definitely not me.
you can feel it, girl. And is it Planet? Why do we keep
Planet Fun Bob.
Yeah, that okay. Your husband.
He got on social media late,
Yeah.
so that's what was available.
I love. Oh, that's so cute. I love watching your guys' like vacations and. You know, like how has this been, and what advice could you give to someone who's newly engaged? Like
Yeah.
it seems like
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys are just so
Yeah.
awesome.
You know, we never, I mean, I had been out of the country like once before we were engaged. He never had. Or before we were married, actually. Did we? I think maybe Mexico, Cabo, we did once. And so our honeymoon was our first real time together. So it was kind of not lucky, but the fact that we didn't have children for so long, it was like 7 years, and we traveled, and we both worked hard. He's worked hard to create his whole career. Nothing was given to him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we would save up for those, you know, but it was so much fun traveling and seeing the world, and we still love doing that and spending time with each other. So I say, before you have children, do that. Take time for you guys, because I know how hard you're working too. Do what you can, even if it's little trips. Like they could be
Yeah.
staycations
Yeah.
or fun experiences. We do fun experiences locally, you know,
Yeah.
before that, because it definitely changes. But then when you do have kids, you know what? It's the same thing, because we're passing in the night. He's not cleaning up on weekends, and I'm, following him. I'm nagging him, as he says, because he's not cleaning up. So you have a lot of those moments in there, but we try and take little moments to spend with each other too. Whether it's not even a date night. It could be a business meeting, but it's a date night, right? Or we have a lot of work trips, but they ended up being special too. They're
Yeah.
moments away. We're not worrying
Right.
about children. We get to hold each other's hand
Yeah.
instead of holding theirs.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's important.
Yeah. What do you think your it factor is?
Oh, my it factor.
Yeah, girl.
Just being honest and being, I hate to say brand because that sounds like business, but understanding what that is for me and what I can provide to the world. That's really it. It's what I can provide to the world, why I was put here, and what it is to do. And it's just about providing simple tips for, yes, did it start with physical health and then it went to nutritional health? There's mental and there's spiritual. When people understand that, and I almost think that the order is actually opposite of that, right? You got to flip it, and then kind of everything leads into the way. But it's just about, providing that.
That's beautiful. Yeah, you serve in a big way, girl.
Oh, thank you. You do too.
Thank you.
Yeah, keeping me motivated.
Likewise.
Tuning in with you, I'm like, okay, I can do this today.
Where can people find you?
We're at KAYOBodyCare.com, ChristineBullock.com. I have a podcast, Keep It Simple Sexy, which you're going to need to come on to. And I think that's it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's
This
so
was
great
fun.
seeing you and just catching up in this way, too. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in as well. That was a little bit of everything.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. Go check her out, and we'll see you next time.